Well, I don't know why, but it wouldn't let me get started first thing this morning. I had to go back and start over, so I apologize for the 1 minute late start. I do feel like I'm supposed to give you my 2 cents worth today. I went to get gas this morning and I found 2 cents, so I'm gonna give you my 2 cents worth today. I really wanted to do this morning, even though it's a holiday and a lot of people are out and they'll be watching this later. And by the way, if you're going to watch this later, you can go ahead and ask questions or make comments. I will see those and get back to you if I feel it's necessary or if I can. But I really wanted to do today because this is one of those questions that I was asked that I'm very excited about, and we'll probably put either a book together or a course or something to help other people answer this question. I was asked, how do I find my gift? How do I find what I'm called to do? And it's a very important question, and most of the Christians I know really do want to serve the Lord. And even those people who aren't Christians, they want to know they make a difference. They want to know they're here for a reason and that they left a legacy that was worth leaving. And so I want to answer that question, but I want to tell you right up front, it's probably going to take at least 2 sessions, possibly 3. It depends on how fast you can listen. I can talk pretty fast. Excuse me. But how do I find my gift? How do I find my calling? How do I determine what it is I'm supposed to do on this planet? Well, let me give you some general information for all of us, some things that will help us kind of get pointed in the right direction. And the number one thing is you don't decide your purpose, you discover it. Nobody gets up one morning and says, I think I'm going to be a pastor, or I think I'm going to be an evangelist, or I think I'm going to be a rocket scientist. No, you discover those things in the process of elimination. Too many people, and unfortunately, some people have decided I'm going to be a pastor, and they shouldn't be. And they're actually hurting themselves and others because they're doing something they're really not supposed to be doing. They might be a great encourager, but they should be doing something else versus pastoring. And I have found in the last 10 years, one of the things that's really surprised me is how many people are great, gifted speakers and teachers, and they think because of that they should be pastoring a church. But pastoring a church is so different than having the gift to be able to teach or to motivate or to influence others. There's so many day-to-day activities that a pastor has to take care of. He has to be all in all. He's an administrator, he's a financial guru, he's a counselor, he's a team builder, he's all these things and 100 other things. It's not just teaching. Teaching is a very, very small part of what he does. So you don't decide your purpose, your gifts, your calling. You discover them. Just like you discover gold, you have to dig through a whole lot of dirt to find one piece of gold, but it's worth the dig. And so I encourage you to start digging, to start discovering, and I'll help you get there. That's just one point. That gifting that you have, whatever it is, you make a difference when you flow in it. I love the fact that the scripture talks about metaphors of the Christian life, and God calls us light. He calls us salt. He calls us leaven. He calls us a witness. All of those things have to be turned on, plugged in, put in for them to make a difference. But they make a difference when they're turned on. When you turn on the light, it makes a difference. When I came in this morning, I turned on the lights and the darkness had to flee because light is more powerful than darkness. But I had to turn it on. It doesn't do any good if I left the light off. It doesn't have any effect unless it's turned on. I have a question for you today. Are you turned on? Salt. Salt makes a difference when it's put on your meal. Leaven makes a difference when it's put in the bread. And I love the fact that a little leaven leavens the whole lump. You don't have to have a great number of Christians in a small organization or a large organization to make a difference. You just have to be willing to be put in and be who you are. Be salt, be light, be a witness. I really believe that when you do what you're called to do, what your purpose is, what your gifting sets are, you become a thermostat over a thermometer. Now, I believe everybody as a leader ought to be a thermostat. And what I mean by that is a thermometer can tell you the temperature of the room. The temperature here today is like, in this room, is like 67 right now. And the thermostat can tell me the temperature of the room, but I can go adjust the thermostat and I can change the temperature of a room. When you're flowing in your gifting, when you're flowing in your calling and your talents rise to the surface, you become someone who changes the temperature of a room. You change the atmosphere of a room. You bring joy and excitement to a particular subject or a room when you show up or talk about it, because it's your passion. So I believe when you flow in what you're called to do, you become a thermostat, and you absolutely have the ability to change the very atmosphere and temperature of the room you're in. And the last thing that's kind of a generic thing is that what you're gifted at is so supernatural, it's so God-given, it's so innate in you, it's so intrinsic in you, it comes from the inside out. It is so supernatural, you think it's natural. You think anyone can do it. And I've watched this over and over again. People overvaluing what one person can do and undervaluing what they can do. That person is so gifted, they can play the guitar. I wish I could play the guitar. But because you can draw, or because you can sing, or because you can write, you think anybody can do that. But we can't. Unless you have a gift set that way, unless you're called to do a particular thing, you can't just decide to do that and really be gifted at it. Now, I have to qualify a little bit. I can play guitar, and I'm pretty good at it. I've injured my hand. I'm not as good at it as I used to be, but I can still play. But I have a gift set for that. Now, I can teach somebody to play, and they can spend the next 30 years learning how to play 4 chords. But the people who are called to it, they pick up a guitar, and within months, they're playing better than those individuals that have played for 30 years that are just trying really hard to do something they're not really called to. So whatever it is you're called to, whatever it is that's in you, it is so intrinsically in you. It's so a part of who you are because it's supernatural that you do it so easily. You think anybody can do it. Well, anybody can speak. I have found that's not true. I shared yesterday in Durant, and I was sharing with those individuals that I did not know that people are afraid of speaking in public. I will speak with one person, 1,000 people, 10,000 people, 100,000 people. I don't care. I love influencing people. And so the bigger the stage, the more people I can influence, the better I feel about the event. But I have found that there are some people, Reader's Digest said, some people fear death itself less than they fear public speaking. So because it's so natural for me, I think anybody can do it. But I found not anybody can, and not everybody wants to. So that's going to take us a little bit of time to unpackage this thing. So I don't want to go too fast, but I want to be able to walk this out, talk this out. And I actually want to start by giving you what I believe are some helpful tools that have helped me, helped hundreds of others. And it'll be a part of whatever course I develop or whatever book I write in helping people discover their purpose. And so I want to share those with you today. And I'm going to do my best to make this understandable. This book by John Maxwell, Intentional Living. I have read so many of John Maxwell's books, probably 50, 55 books, maybe 60, I don't know. To this date, to me, this is one of the best books he's written. Let me give you the ISBN number of this book. It is 978-1-4555-48 2817-0. Let me read that again. And the ISB number is what you would go to the library, you would ask them, they would look this book up for you, or you could order it by this ISBN number. 978-1-455-4817-0. Intentional Living, John Maxwell. And what I love about this book is one of the things I want to share with you as we go on is this book has over 200 questions in it. And I believe that that is how you really discover your gifting and your talent, is by asking the right questions. Now, you can ask questions, and questions are important. Children have the fastest developing minds on the planet. And the reason for that is they're asking questions all the time. Why is the sky blue? Why is the shore so close to the ocean? Why does that cloud look like Grandpa? Why does the grass grow? Why do those birds sing? They're asking questions. And because they're asking questions, they're developing, they're growing. But the best producers on the planet are not children. The best producers are the ones who apply the knowledge that they have learned. And I believe a part of discovering your purpose is by asking the right question. You can ask questions and get answers, but if you ask the right question, you can change your destiny. And I've shared this before, but for all the new people, because we're gaining every day, and I'm so excited about it. When thousands of years ago, and for thousands of years, we asked this one question: where is water? Because we knew to build, to live, to survive, we needed water. So we built our homes, we built our towns, we built our cities near water, because we knew we had to have water to survive. And so we asked the question, where is water? But then somebody ventured to ask, how do I get water to me? And now it changed history forever. Now we basically build wherever we want to build, and we drill and we get water to come to us. You can ask questions and get answers, but if you ask the right questions, which is what I want to do in the midst of this teaching, is I want to ask somewhat of, I believe, is the right questions. And this book by John Maxwell has over 200 of what I believe are the right questions. And we're going to look at some of those and some other ones that aren't in the book that I believe are very important questions. But I want to tell you right now, asking what is a good question. What job was your favorite job? That's a great question. But what you'll find is the better question is why. What job was your favorite job? Or jobs. What have been your favorite jobs? And list them. Well, I really like this, and I really like working here, and I really like working there. Sometimes you'll find you liked working there not because you liked the job, but because you liked the boss or the people you were working with, and that's fair enough. But most of the time, what you will find is there is a reason that job was the most enjoyable job for you. And if you can answer that question, why did I enjoy that job? Well, it was because I was with people, and I was helping people, and I was encouraging people, which, by the way, is another generality of your purpose and your giftings, is all of the giftings and the talents and the callings, all of them have one thing in common, and that's they are to serve your fellow man. What you will find is intrinsically what you've been given by God is to help other individuals. Now, you may make money by using it. A workman is worthy of his hire, but that gifting really isn't for you. You can make a living out of it, but that gifting is to be given to others. And until we give it away, until we are willing to share it with other individuals, it is a useless gift. I've often shared with people that open rebuke is better than secret love, and we've heard that taught, and most of the time it's about people correcting us, and that's a true statement. Correction is one of the highest forms of love anybody can do for you, is love you enough to say, hey, you need to make this adjustment. I really believe that. But part of the reason secret love isn't as good as open rebuke is because secret love doesn't help anybody. It doesn't help your loved one for you to keep the I love yous in your heart. You need to verbalize them. That's where it actually affects them and it helps them. Well, your gift, your talent, your calling, it doesn't help anybody if it lays dormant and hid inside you. But what God has placed in you is to serve other individuals, to help other individuals. I was created in part to talk. And so I've used that gift to help others, to challenge, to change, and to cheer my fellow man has become my motto. It's become my driving force. And so you intrinsically know, you inherently, in your heart of hearts, you know one of the things that you want to do is you want to help people. That's because it's God-given. Even people who are lost outside of the family of God want to help others, and they might not even know why. They might think they're just a good person, and they may very well be a good person, but they're a good person who wants to help others because from the very get-go, God has made us in his image, and he wants to serve us, and he wants us to serve others. In John, I believe it's chapter 13, he says, happy is the man that knows this and does it. Knows what? How to serve his fellow man. So I believe this book, Intentional Living, asks all the right questions. And so I would encourage you to get the book. I think when I went, had my secretary go on the internet, she found this book in a paperback used and in really good shape for like $7. Is your future worth $7? I don't know what I'm going to charge for the book or for the courses, but I'm going to charge something because it's taken me a long time to gather all this wisdom and knowledge together to help people. But I guarantee you $7 is worth getting a kind of a foothold of your purpose and your talent, narrowing the road a little bit from an 8-lane highway to maybe a 2-lane highway. So I believe this is worth your investment. Another book that I would encourage you to get is called Strength Finders 2.0. Strength Finders 2.0. Let me give you the ISBN number, and then I'm going to show you how to use the book. ISBN number 978-1-56562-015-6. One more time. 978-1-56562-015-6. Now you will read the book till I think it's like page 31 or 32. Yeah, 31. You'll read the book up to page 31, and it just tells you what the book is about. Now, this book is not about deciding if you're a plumber or if you're an artist or if you're a welder. This book is about what motivates you, what your core values, what drives you to do what you do. And so you'll read the book up to page 31, and then you'll go to the back. And in the back of the book, see that dotted line? You'll cut that dotted line, and inside that dotted line is a sequence of numbers and letters. And these numbers and letters are what you will use when you go online to take the test. This is a Strength Finders test. Now, let me tell you what they didn't tell me when I first took this test. You're going to need about 40 minutes of quiet time. Not 40 minutes when you think the kids are going to rush in and want supper, or your wife is going to want you to help her with something, or you're going to get 4 phone calls. You need 40 minutes of quiet time. And for some of you, that's probably going to be the hardest thing. That's another teaching. We'll talk about that another time. But you need about 40 minutes by yourself where you're not going to be interrupted. Go online, give them your number letter sequence, take the test. Now they're going to ask you, I can't remember, it's 30 or 50 questions. They're going to give you about 10 seconds for each question. Now that doesn't sound like a whole lot of time, but it's actually more than enough time. And what they're going to do is they're going to ask you 2 questions. And It's basically going to be like this. On this side of the paper is going to be one answer, and on this side there's going to be another. They're going to ask you a question. It's going to go something like, would you like to play basketball or would you rather read a book? And then it's going to have, I'd rather read a book or I'd rather play basketball. And if you really would rather play basketball and reading, just you detest reading, then you'd go over here and pick as far to that basketball circle as you can. You've got like 4 circles and then one in the middle. It's neutral. Do not pick the one in the middle. If you answer any of those questions with the one in the middle, they throw that question out. It's as if you didn't answer it. So if you really struggle, I love playing basketball, but I really love reading too, pick the one that's most like you. And so you'll have 10 seconds to answer the question. Just answer it from your heart. What motivates you the most? What is most like you in this question? And answer that question that way. And then what it will do is it will send you a result almost immediately. They'll give you 5 things that are your top 5 strength finders. And I'm just going to mention a few of them. I'll use me as an example because I can handle it. My number 1 strength finder is WOO. W-O-O. It stands for winning others over. I love being in a crowd of people I don't know. Now, most people, that scares them to pieces. To be in a room of people they don't know, they get quiet, not me. By the time that meeting is over, I will have 8 new friends and 2 new people to spend time with. It's really important to me to win people over, to cause people to, I really want people to like me is what it comes down to. My second strength finders is communication. Go figure. So I love communicating, talking. So one of the things that we know is that if we want to encourage the people, if we want to rally the troops to go storm the castle, send me in. Because I want to win them over to our cause. I want to communicate that particular thing, and I can do it. So winning others over, communication. I'm a learner. I love learning. It's why I read 3 books a week. I still love reading. An actual hard copy. I don't do much Kindle stuff. So it gives you your 5 strengths in order. This is your number 1. This is your number 2. And then the rest of the book explains what those particular strengths are, what they sound like, and they even give you, which is what I love, ideas about jobs you should be looking for, areas you should be looking for to plug that strength into. They even have a book, which is my next communication, for leaders. Strengths for leadership. Same people, but it's for leaders. And it takes your particular strength and it shows you how to lead from that particular strength. I will give you the ISBN number for this book as well for those that are in leadership. ISBN number 978-1-56562-025-5. One more time. 978-1-562-025-5. Wow, we are running out of time. That's incredible. You're not listening fast enough. So those 3 books, and there's some other things like the DISC test. I think everybody ought to take the DISC test. D-I-S-C, DISC. Go look it up on the internet. I think there's lots of places you can get it for free. I'm sure there's places you could pay as well. Well, when you take the DISC test, it just shares with you some of the things that are your way of dealing with life. The D stands for dominance. These people are direct, strong-willed, and forceful. I stands for influence. These people are sociable, talkative and lively. They're what most people would call the life of the party. The S in DISC is for steadfast. These people are gentle, accommodating, and soft-hearted as a whole. And then the C is for conscientiousness. And these people they're kind of private, but they're very analytical and almost always logical. And so most people are one of those things: dominance, influence, steadfast, or conscientiousness is their number one driving. But most people are like me. I'm an IS. I'm an influencer and I'm steadfast. Other people are ID or SC. So I would encourage you to take the DISC test. And then there's the spiritual giftings test that would tell you whether you're got a pastoral heart or whether you have an evangelical heart or whether you're kind of apostolic. You like developing things and creating things and getting them established and then passing them off to someone else. So there are lots of tests out there, and I'd like to at least end with this thought. I'm getting low on battery, so I'm going to have to end pretty quick. There's questions, and then there's the right question. And so I'm going to have to close down because my battery literally is running down. I did not know. I can't reach it from here, the cord. Is asking why. I have some questions, and I just lost all my power. That's incredible.